This is Hollywood Connections. I'm World's Mrs. Hoosier State Tourism, Loretta Kendall. I'm here with Diane Sturgeon, and she's with Pitbulls of St. Francis. She is a volunteer, and these adorable little guys that we have with us are stars of their own, right? So tell us about how they're becoming their own show.
So pitbullsofstfrancis.com has a live feed of these adorable little guys. They were rescued from JB Ogle. They were dumped December 17th. They were dumped at they were dumped at JB Ogle right before Christmas at 1 week old, not even 1 week old, the mama and her pups. And so a shelter is not a really good place for pups to live. So Chelsea's Legacy actually reached out to Pitbulls of St. Francis asking for some help because they're overloaded with small dogs right now from a hoarding case. Whole separate story. But so we stepped up as fosters and we took them into our home. They've had a nice warm place to stay. We set up a live feed so that you can view them anytime. You can log in, it's 24/7, and they sleep, they play, they started playing and like fighting and wrestling, so they're getting up there in age. They're probably about 5-6 weeks old now. So.
And you can probably hear the brothers and sisters in the background. So these are not pit bulls, correct?
These are not pit bulls. These are actually little Chihuahua, probably Chihuahua Boston Terrier mix babies. But Pitbulls of St. Francis takes in friends, is what we call them. So they take in what's needed. They're a rescue that's focused on high-risk shelter dogs or high-risk euthanasia dogs, the dogs that are at risk for being put down pretty much immediately for whatever reason. If the shelter doesn't have room, if they've got heartworm, if they've got a huge medical case that the shelter just can't afford, Pitbulls of St. Francis steps up and tries to save those dogs.
So tell me a little bit more about the rescue and how they work with pit bulls who have been in situations that are illegal activities.
So Pitbulls of St. Francis rescues dogs that, like I said, they're at high risk for being euthanized at the shelter. They actually took in a dog that a couple months ago named Althea, and she came from a fighting ring here in Louisville. Unfortunately it still happens no matter how much we fight as animal advocates to try to get our laws changed. It's still happening. Abuse is still happening. Fighting rings are still happening. But Althea came from a fighting ring here in Louisville, and she came with her ears cropped off. She lost her ears. I'm not sure if it was in a fighting attack or really what happened to her ears, but she doesn't have little ears. She can still hear though, and she's an amazing dog. Pitbulls are extremely forgiving. They just want to please their owner. They want to be the best dog that they can be for you and whatever you teach them to be. So if you're teaching them to fight, like unfortunately they're working for that. Oh, that's a good boy, attaboy. And like when they come to be a pet, like they're just the friendliest dogs and so forgiving.
A lot of people are worried about adopting pit bulls, and because of all the media coverage about them being aggressive animals. How can someone who wants to adopt a pit bull ensure that it's a good fit for their family?
So we make sure when we pull from the shelter that they're dog friendly. They have to be dog friendly to come into our rescue, and they get dog tested at the shelter. They have to be dog friendly to come into the rescue because we have a lot of fosters that already have dogs. So we can't be having fights and such going on. And then we work to give them manners and training while they're in our homes. So I've got a girl named Saki upstairs, and she came from Bullitt County Animal Shelter, who's doing amazing things to turn that shelter around. Angie Webb Greenup is the new director there, and she's amazing. And she really does care about the pit bulls there. But we spent about 2 hours dog testing all of her dogs to see which one we could actually pull into our home, and which one would get along with my pit bull, who's extremely dog friendly. And so we work on manners when they get to our house. We cat test them, we kid test them, meaning like, they're with our kids. If they show any sign of aggression, like then we send them to a no kid home or an older kid home that knows like how to deal with that.
So how long have you been fostering, and what does fostering mean to you?
Fostering is our way of giving back to, like a humanitarian outreach, and our way of giving back to the world. It really does save a life to foster. These dogs we put down without our fosters, and our fosters are incredible, opening up their homes. Oh, he's biting me. Opening up our homes and, just loving them, and they pour their hearts and energy into these dogs, and then, we all cry when they leave and they go to their adopted homes because we miss them, we put our love into them, but it's so worth it because we get these pictures from adopting families and updates, and we know that it saved that life and it brought joy to another family.
What is the process to adopt one of the animals from the rescue?
So you can go to our website, pitbullsofstfrancis.com, and fill out an application if you're interested in a particular dog. There's a question that, to tell which dog you want. So if you're interested in Taji, you can put Taji's name down. If you just want to adopt a dog and you just don't really have a preference or you don't have a dog in mind yet, you can put general dog or, just a dog. And then we'll do a little bit of research and ask you a couple questions of what type of dog you're looking for and what your active, how active your lifestyle is. Once you fill out the application and submit it, we have an adoption counselor that starts reviewing the app. She checks all the references, she goes through the questions, and then she makes a phone call. She calls the references, and then she gives a call to you and asks questions about the app and just to figure out what type of dog is the perfect fit for your home.
Is there a process if the animal doesn't fit well with the family or the home?
So if we feel like an animal is not going to fit, our fosters will go and meet the family, and they'll do a meet and greet with their dogs, with our dog that we're fostering. And if it doesn't fit, if we feel like it's not a good fit, we'll suggest a different dog that maybe will fit better, or we just won't place that dog into that home and we'll move on to the next adoption application. We don't want to place a dog that's not going to fit into your lifestyle. So, we don't want to get people's hopes up, and so we have the adoption process before they even meet the dog in person. But at the same time, if you get to meeting the dog and it's not the perfect fit, we just want the best for the dog.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about adoption in Pitbulls of St. Francis?
Go check out our live feed. It's super cute. It's super addicting. It's better than April the giraffe.
It is adorable.
I think we've got 35 or 40 dogs right now that are looking for homes. I think 12 are actually available for adoption at this moment. And then my litter will be up for adoption in March. And they're just so cute and so sweet.
And these are adorable little puppies, but what about the older dogs? I have met Saki, and she's an adorable dog. She's easy to get along with. We did a photo shoot with Saki, and it was awesome. She's so well behaved. What would you suggest as far as people adopting older dogs, and because obviously they don't get the attention that the puppies do?
The benefit of adopting an older dog is that they come trained. Saki is house trained, she's crate trained, she loves people, she's somewhat dog selective. She likes more laid back dogs, and so we keep that in mind when we're interviewing people for her home, and for to find her a good home and what types of dogs that they have. And so that meet and greet is super important. But Saki is an amazing dog. We call her a starter dog because you don't have to train her. Adopting an older dog, a lot of times our fosters have put all that energy into already training that dog. And puppies, you have to put that time and energy into training them, teaching them the ways of your house, house training them, crate training them. They'll cry at night like they're babies. They've just been separated from their mama. But older dogs that have already gone through that transition, they've developed their brains, they have that maturity. So I actually had a coworker that adopted a dog from us, and her name is Mars, and she's an amazing dog. They absolutely adore her, and they went the extra mile and they got her training through a local trainer. So they came into the home and worked out some of her issues, but it was awesome for that family to adopt an older dog because they didn't want to train a puppy. They didn't want all these pee pads around. They didn't want to take the time to house train them.
So tell us one more time how they can go and find some of these adorable dogs in your website, and that's about it.
So go to pitbullsofstfrancis.com. We're also on Facebook under Pitbulls of St. Francis. You can browse through our adoptables on our website. It's all linked to Pet Finder. And then you can also fill out an application to adopt. You could fill out an application to foster. It's all on our website, pitbullsofstfrancis.com.
Well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us and showing us these adorable puppies. And we are Hollywood Connections. And again, I'm World's Mrs. Hoosier State Tourism 2018. Thank you. The end. Puppies.
Yes. Adopt me. Adopt me. Adopt